Coming up on this week's edition of This Weekend, Dustin Clifton narrates the story of how Martin Luther King Jr. became a household name. Those stories, along with this week's This Weekend in the News, can be seen on this week's special edition of This Weekend with Jacob Pyle, which starts right now.
And now coming to you live from our studios in Tipton, Indiana, it's This Weekend with Jacob Pyle for Saturday, January 24th, 2015. And now, here's the guy that makes every weekend a special one. Your host on This Weekend, Jacob Pyle.
Hello everybody, welcome to a very special edition of This Weekend. I'm Jacob Pyle, glad you could be with us. This week, we are going to be looking at the life of a guy who has changed the world for the better for all of us. A guy who made us realize just how special we really are, regardless of color or race. Dustin Clifton now is going to narrate for us the story behind a very special legacy and how his I Got a Dream speech became so popular for all of America. I mean, well, not just for all of America, but for all over the world, pretty much. So now, here with our story on Martin Luther King Jr. is our guest correspondent for this week, Dustin Clifton.
Thanks, Jacob. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15, 1929, in the great town of Atlanta, Georgia. He was a middle child between an older sister and a younger brother. He later went on to become a pastor at the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama, at only 25 years old. Later, he took part in such things as the Albany movement and a campaign against racial segregation. In 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. stood in front of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. to give a speech that was famously known as the I Got a Dream speech. This 17-minute speech was a pure example of how blacks and whites got together and realized what his dreams were for this nation and for the world. On April 4, 1968, at 6:01 p.m. Standard Time, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, and at the age of 39 years old, he passed away. And that's why every year we honor Martin Luther King Jr. as one of the prime examples in bringing blacks and whites together in one community. Happy birthday, Martin Luther King Jr. I'm Dustin Clifton.
Thank you, Dustin, for the report. Martin Luther King is one of the many people that has changed the black community forever. As a little something to look forward to, beginning in February, in honor of Black History Month, we are going to be doing a short profile of some famous black people that have helped make a difference for all of us. And also, if you want more information about Martin Luther King Jr., go to your local library or bookstore. A little later in the show, I'm going to sing a special song in tribute to the great Martin Luther King. But after the break, though, we will have this week's This Weekend in the News. That's all coming up after this week's local forecast. We'll be right back.
And now, here again is Jacob Pyle.
And now here's what this weekend is following in the news. In Hong Kong, a Chinese man has been reunited with his father 24 years after he was abducted as a toddler from a vegetable market. I was happy. I was grateful, the father said, but I was also bitter. In 1991, Soon Bin was taken by child traffickers from his hometown in Sichuan province and sold to a family 1,000 miles away. Soon Bin has yet to make a decision of whether or not he will leave the adoptive coastal town where he was raised. In Louisiana, 2 children who were left alone were killed in a house fire while their mother was out getting her hairstyle in a salon. Fire officials say they are still piecing together what happened at the home in Bay Strip on Monday evening. But one thing is certain, said Brand Thompson, State Fire Marshal Deputy Chief. Sierra Johnson left her child unattended for hours as she was having her hair styled. Johnson is charged with 2 counts of negligent homicide. And finally, on a sad note, Darrell Winfield, otherwise known as the original Marlboro Man, died in his Wyoming home earlier last week. Winfield appeared as the Marlboro Man in many of their ads from 1968 to 1989. Winfield was 85 years old. We'll have more of This Week in the News next time, but after the break we will have this week's Song of the Week for all of you. That's coming up after the break, but first here's this week's business news. We'll be right back.
And now, here again is Jacob Pyle.
Welcome back. Earlier in the show, we learned a lot about the great Martin Luther King Jr. But now, I'd like to sing a song which pays tribute to King, as well as 2 other people who have been assassinated at a very young age. Each of them were all icons of social change. I think it was sad when I heard about their true stories, and then these idiot people have to come in and take their lives. Anyway, here we go with the song Abraham, Martin, and John, as originally done by the great and wonderful people. Has anybody here seen my old friend Abraham? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but seems the good they die young. I just feel that he's gone. Anybody here see my old friend John? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but seems the good that I young. I just feel that he's gone. Unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. Does anybody here see my old friend Martin? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but it seems the good that I young. I just look around and he's gone. Didn't you love the things that they stood for? Didn't they try to find some good? And we'll be free someday soon. And it's gonna be one day. Anybody here seen my friend Bobby? Can you tell me where he's gone? I thought I saw him walking up over the hill with Abraham, Martin, and John. So I just looked around and gone.
After the break, Jacob Pyle has this week's final thought. Don't go away. And now, here again is Jacob Pyle.
And now it's time for this week's final thought. I don't know if you all have been paying attention on Facebook recently, but about a week ago I posted something about a great idea I had. We just started a brand new year a couple of weeks ago, 2015, and in order to get a good start on this new and exciting year, I want to try to make this weekend one of the most popular webcasts on YouTube. And in order to make that happen, there's a few things here and there that you guys might be able to help me with. Of course, if you've been avid viewers of the newscast and has decided to give this new show a try, I thank you. But we just need more of you. All you guys have to do is tell your friends that Jacob Pyle's back with a new show on YouTube. Why don't you take a look, And I'm sure that the more people out there who do that, I bet you bottom dollar that will indeed do the job. And also, if you have any comments about the show, good or bad, we will accept both. Don't be afraid to let us know, because we'll be more than, because your comments can help improve things with the show a little bit, Also, and this is a biggie, I am still looking for help with this new show. It's like we're looking for co-hosts and announcers and reporters and stuff like that. And even special guests too. Because the more help we have with this show, the better this program can be. So if you are interested, let me know. I'm still working on getting a website going for this new show, just like I had one with the newscast. But I already have the This Weekend with Jacob Pyle Facebook page set up. So if you like the show, like our page on Facebook. The more people we have, the better this program will be, like I said earlier. Without you, there would be no program. So keep telling your friends about this new program, because we can't do it without you. Simple as that. And with that, that'll be it for this week. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jacob Pyle, and until next week, from all of us here this weekend, good night, and God bless my friends.
This is Trenton Byers speaking for this weekend. This program has been pre-recorded.